Shalom, Israel. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle, elder bishops, great millstone, must salutation to the brother, Station word for the hopeful elect, soon elect, most, most high will, to the extended hopeful elect, shalom, blessings, men, women, children, returning back to the most high. And you gotta love this truth, man. You gotta love the knowledge and wisdom, understanding coming from the apostle, elder bishops. You have to be in this thing, not only of this thing, but you gotta be in it, involved. There are choices and there are top choices. Concubines is a choice. There are choices, and our women are top choices. And I'm just getting right into it, man. Because our women got a problem with us having concubines. Well, they got a problem with us having more than one woman and right now. If they're thinking about, if they're kingdom-minded like we are, maybe even in the kingdom, y'all gonna have concubines. Well, they're gonna be choices, but you the top choice. There's a such thing as that. I've read the top choice. It says means the best or most preferred option among a selection of alternatives. It is used to indicate that something stands out as the highest quality, most desirable, or most favored choice in a given context. You're the most desirable. You're the one that stands out. But these concubines, and you might have a situation in the common world, and Jake say, "Hey, man, she was nothing," and he'll say that over and over again to his wife that that found him with another girl or talking to another girl, and she like, hey, and he got to kind of prove himself to her in this world, to where he say, be like, hey, she wasn't nothing, she don't mean nothing to me. So yeah, but y'all slept together, yeah, but hey, I come home to you, you know how Jake does. And so she might bypass that. She might say, yeah, okay, maybe today it's not so much a thing. But back then she was, that's why women think they're getting wiser and shit. It ain't about getting wiser. It's about, knowing who you are in the perspective of the scenario that's given or what you're in or the condition, the situation you're in, to where you can use and apply things that you know to make a better situation for yourself. But, this is the type of thing that is going to be happening. And you got some jakes that do settle down and have one woman. Okay, it's cool. And it's not expedient time to have many wives. It says in the scripture, they that have wives as though they have none. But, these women, even if you apply that and say, well, I'm just with you, they'll still try to investigate and try to overextend, or whatever. They'll try to do the most. But in any case, you'll have a woman that'll forgive a man, because just because he'll say that she didn't mean nothing, man. She ain't nothing. She out there on the street. She ain't established like you. She ain't coordination with my spirit. She ain't, it was just a couple of hours, babe. If I was caught up in the moment, but she don't mean nothing, and she might forgive you for that. I mean, I'm not saying that in a worldly sense, because really they don't have the power to forgive us or give us. You know what I'm saying? We are the prize. The men are the prize. But yeah, something that's top choice. What it says. You got those key words like peculiar and special, Now, if you have a wife, she shall take a judgment of his own people to wife. Yeah, And it's a passage right here. It said Leviticus 21:14. However, it closely echoes passages regarding marriage within one's community or tribe, such as Leviticus 21:14, where a priest is instructed, but he shall take a virgin of his own people to wife. Similar familial or tribal counsel appears in Tobit 14:4 and 12. It's like a 4 and 12, and Judges 14:3. And back then, priests, it was a portion of the Most High. The Levites, they had the portion with the Most High. They wasn't given land because as much as they have a portion with the Most High, they didn't have to do that. But today, the king and priests is of all tribes of Israel. So it's a broader, aspect of those things, given individually to certain tribes. We all have that, and of course, there's a certain standard with us, how we deal with women, and even with GMS, we don't deal with women like these other camps. So we separate ourselves, and they have to come to us basically, and that's why a lot of women are not attracted to GMS, on a camp basis or what have you, or what they heard. Other camps, they coming out. I mean, other females is coming from these camps are starting to realize and witness, like, damn, man, even the Sakari thing and ISUPK thing and all that, they like, damn, man, we suffered abuse, or even them giving a platform to be women and to be associated among the congregation, they still got problems. And sometimes you could be like, yeah, that's a woman, but we don't deal with women at all on that level, and like the scriptures say, we go by the scriptures. Woman is after the man. She's, she didn't come first, but the man. It just says that loudly, clearly in Corinthians and other passages. I won't make this long, but let me see what else I did. I looked up. Because I was looking at, one of my old videos, man, and I was comparing Tracy Ellis Ross to who was that other female? Yeah, I quickly forgot. Other one is, one from Fresh Prince. This is her right here, from the one that played Hillary. Her name is Carrie Parson, and I compared them, and I said one is an Edomite, one's not. But we can have Edomite women, we can have concubines. So if we were in the king position right now, and our women understood that we can have more than one woman, well, if I had Carrie Parson, the one that played Fresh Prince, Hillary, character Hillary, and our women accepted, we can have more than one woman. And he's like, okay, we get it now, If I had Tracy Ellis Ross, too, as a second wife, well, as a concubine, but, she could be considered as a wife too, but a lower position wife as a concubine. They might agree with that too. I'm talking about like right now on earth right now, because they might feel she's a black woman, or they might, accept her because she's beautiful, and they like, well, I understand it, but they might not see her as an Edomite in a way that we could even be behind the, even in the straight raw spirit. Like, nah, she's an Edomite. She gonna be out there, and she could be a concubine, and she's an Edomite. She gonna be destroyed and all that, and they were like, well, they'll probably be glad that she can at least communicate in the fold as a concubine, because they believe and they'll root for her because she's a woman too, also. But she would be considered in their eyes a so-called black woman. She played on in sitcom Singles. Is that what it's called? A single lady or something like that. I forget with Queen Latifah and but nah, it's like it, not Queen Latifah. The other girls, I forget. I think it was called Girlfriends. Yeah, the other one called Living Single. This one called Girlfriend. She played in. Uh, but they would root for her a little bit. Like, yeah, I don't mind you having, but don't mess with these cave bitches. You can mess with, but she's a Edomite too. But so if women are just basing on beauty and what they perceive as beauty and as a woman's perspective, like you'll have them rooting for an Edomite because she made great strides in the industry or she played a role well for women. And they'll be like, damn, she played that role, and that's an Edomite. She just played a good role for women, but they'll do it for woman's sake. But we're not doing it for that. We're not gonna have concubines because they're just so beautiful, and we have concubines for the sake of us having our spoils of the kingdom, because that's what kings do and priests do. I mean, and it's not considered unrighteous. I don't never heard of a history that a king had this many women and they was, they was everybody hated them and women hated them. They loved the king. Hugh Hefner, he had a whole house. He wasn't even on a king position, but he had a whole house full of, he was the leader, whatever, the Playboy Mansion, stuff like that. They didn't have no problem with it. I ain't never heard of a woman complaining about Hugh Hefner in the news. Hugh Hefner. I think later on something came out against him, but that nobody was listening to that shit. They love to be there. If you have a woman that love to be in the presence of a king, no matter what goes on in that domain, she can't say shit. She'll try to take it to the question and be like, well, you enjoyed to be there. So, and it's a story. It's a and I'm kind of ranting at the same time giving information, but like we said, if it's a situation where a woman is kidnapped for 5 years and under this, man, and she claimed he abused her and all that, it might be like, damn, 5 years? I don't know, that's a long ass time and shit. You got like a kid with him or whatever. Somebody would escape. And any a woman that had she would have got out of there in 5 years. I mean, this is the type of dude that goes to a store and leaves her and say, you better stay here, and don't, even if she's locked in the house, she's going to find a way out, or she's going to plot to just get away. So you're going to have questions about like that woman. And, and so, it kind of relates to our women too. Like, yeah, if our women are acting nasty and got attitudes all the time, shit, and it's a woman that's nearby to help us and try to and treat us like kings and do anything for us, cook, clean, and have no questions, who you think we're gonna go with? They're probably gonna try be the top choice until y'all get y'all shit together. Just like women, they say to us, you ain't got 6 figures. Well, when you get 6 figures, nigga, you could talk to me then. Well, same thing with us. Till you able to cook and clean and humble yourself and respect us as, kings and well, we ain't not have a crown on our head right now, but respect us as their husbands, calling us Lord like Sarah did. We gonna go, we gonna choose these other women, which are other from other nations, concubines, if you will. They're not the top choice. That top choice is still open. The hopeful elect of a woman, that position is still open. You can't be a hopeful elect woman like a part and be a heathen. You know, that door is still open for our women that want to do right and turn back to the Most High. But in the meanwhile, when we need help and the only help is them, we ain't gonna be waiting on y'all's ass. Y'all could be taking forever and shit. So I'm getting my back rubbed and toes popped. I'm still in slavery. I'm still in bondage. We still going through the curses. This is not the best of the concubines, even if we have different the women from different nations. We're not getting the best of them or the best of that lifestyle. We might just hit a couple of times, whatever the case, man. But y'all act like we just, we just getting our feel on, man. And that this is, we trying to get heaven out of that situation. Nah, man. So relax. But I'm telling you that we're going to have concubines in the kingdom. But they're not going to be the top of the choices. Our women are always going to be top choice. None are going to be more beautiful than our women when they're in order, I mean. So the concubines are just there, man, And they do their little help, But you don't be mad at us. But anyway, it's more of a ranting, and we'll have, and every son or daughter we have with them, just like of old time, they're going to be Israelites. So we can't go wrong. If that was the case, the Most High would have made them with the women, and then you messed up, son. You slept with a concubine, and now that seed is of her loins. She don't have no loins. So definitely we ain't going off having concubines. But y'all, if y'all top choice women, show yourself as top choice, man. And if you don't understand that, well, start with Sarah, calling her man Lord. Well, I can't get around that, but I will cook for my man and clean for him, take care of the house. I wouldn't say clean. It's like a lot of words trigger them and shit. I ain't gonna say clean, but I'll take care of the house and the children and all that and help them. Y'all still going for that 50-50 thing. But if y'all want to do that and start with Sarah as an example of how you live with your Israelite men, then you have some problems within yourself that you have to kink out, man. And there's no answer for that. It's just whatever it is. Like, y'all either want to be top choice or you don't. But of course, it's gonna be some elect ladies. It's gonna, that's what it is. It's gonna be, and it's showing more and more. But even in the meanwhile and after the meanwhile, you can't knock us for having concubines. That's the part of a makeup of a king, a part of a royalty of a king. The Most High said he's the father of all spirits, not just us, Israel. He said, we the king of all these nations. So we can go in these nations, country and city and take what we want to. You might say that's unfair. You might say, I don't want to see. But hey, when you're a God and you're a king, you could do what the hell you want. Like Most High, he could do what the hell he want to do, man. If he want to give these nations a blessing, he gave Esau a blessing. We could, some of us could have said, Most High, he gave him the dwellings of fatness on the land and the sword. But he's a heathen. He's our enemy. He's given that. So we the kings and gods of the land, and it's in the sons. We know the levels of understanding of the Most High. We know not to treat our women like whores, and not to be a lion in the house, and not to have our daughters as whores, and all their sons of Sodom. We know that. So if you do have that going on with a man that claims he's a man of the Lord, then there is a problem. Then you have a voice, so to speak, for the representation of what the Most High says about his men and how they should act. That's why Susanna did what she did. This should not go on in Israel. But these women don't even have that kind of backbone, if at all. So don't accuse us of nothing. We're still following the laws of the Most High and still his sons. So anyway, shalom.